Hello guys. So we're going to continue on our AutoCAD. Now we stopped in the previous class when we were trying to see how these things work. Now we are going to learn about the tools. I already gave you guys an insight of what the tools are from our previous class. And now in this particular class, I'm going to be showing us practically how we use the tools. But first, before we actually go into that, you can see that my background is actually white. Now, originally, when you open the AutoCAD, when you launch the AutoCAD, you do not have a white background like this. You have a black background. So how do you change your background? Now, there's something we call option. You can either type your option like this, OPTION, and click on enter. Then it brings you down to a panel like this, where you can set your display. Now, let's change this first of all. Let's see. Under this particular display option, you change your theme from dark to white and like that. Now, let's see. Come to colors. Look at my mouse. Come to colors. Now, under this point, this is our 2D space. This is, I've changed it to white. So let's see. Let me take it back to black. That's the background color. Apply and close. Now, you see, this is the default color you are going to see when you come into the AutoCAD interface. Now, I want to change this. When you come to color schemes, this is where you can change the color of your background. Anything you want to change now, just look at it. This is my sheet layout space. Originally, when you come to your background, you also like anything you want to do, literally, it comes to this point. This is where you change everything from. The paper background also the same thing. The color, you can always change color to what you want. But for me, I like using white because I feel it shows me my paper, how my paper would look like. And so I'll go back and change my 2D space to white, apply and close. Now that's on that. Now the next thing you also set, you can also set all of these to your specified satisfaction. But I'm not going to do that because I think what I'm having, I like it like that. So the next thing I'm going to be having is open and save. Now you see some people, they will tell you that they are using a higher version of AutoCAD and they do not know how to probably reduce the AutoCAD version. So here you set your open and save how you want to save. Now when you come here, you see save as. I set my default to 2007 so that I can always carry my work to a lower version. And so when you come in, the default you see here is 2018. That is if you're using something higher from 2018 and above. See 2018 as your default save as. But I'm not going to use 2018. I'm using 2007. You can also reduce it to whatever you want. But if 2007 is like the default one, everybody uses. That's why I saved my job in 2007. Now, same also, you can also go through this and set your other preferences, your preferences on what you want. So here I have save as. This is where you probably when you want to print this plot and publish is when you want to print what you literally want to do. If it's to print on a PDF, probably add a printer or something. This is where you literally carry out that setting. Okay. Then the system, user preference, and all of this, it all depends on you, whatever you want. So right here, you also see that cursor that moves in your screen when you're working. This is where you change. This is where you actually increase the size or reduce the size. Okay. So I'm going to leave this because I'm okay with what I have. You get the point. So this is the option setting. Now I click on OK and I'm done with that. Now you see there is this thing that looks like a construction line. It's there like probably when you want to use a construction line, like a grid in your design. But for me, I don't like using it. So if you don't want it, you can always look down here. You see this place like there's something like an ash. When you click on it, it disappears. When you click on it, it comes back again. You understand? Same also with this. This particular one is also a function of this. Like it all depends on you what you want to do. So for me, I don't use them, so I'm literally going to remove them. So let me delete this. Let me delete this. Sorry, I will highlight it and click on delete from my system, and they are gone. Now let's see the tools as we have them. Now, when you come to your AutoCAD, remember something. You literally when you open this new job, you see this is your draw tools. Under this, we have the line. Like I told you guys, what the line is made for. This is what you use, just like your pencil in real life. The line helps you to draw and to construct various objects within your AutoCAD. So like it's like a pencil that you use for drawing your items in the AutoCAD. Okay, that's on that. Now the polyline I told you before is the same thing also, but the polyline it brings every item as an individual entity. Okay, so they are not separate, but lines are actually separate entities. Okay, that's on that. So circle helps you to draw your circles. Your arc, like I told you before, it helps you to draw your arc. Your rectangle helps you to draw a square or a rectangle, whatever you want to do, it all depends on you. Now your ellipse helps you to draw elliptical lines and all that. They are not perfect circles, so they are more like oval and the rest of them. You get the point. So that's on that. Then this is in case I want to do my hatching. Say I want to hash something. This is how the hash pattern works. But we'll get to that as we proceed on our discussion. So I'll skip this. Now, when you come down here, you also order tools like spline, which literally is used for drawing curve shapes and the rest of them. So escape. Now, we also have oh, now, when you explore, you get to see all of this. Now, these are the drawing tools, what we call the drawing tools. They are used um, to create elements. Now, the next thing we have is what we call the modify tools. Modify tools, like the name modify, like I talked about initially, they help to modify an existing design that you have created. Now, if I want to move an object, this is move. Now it shows me when I click on move, it shows me to select the object. So if I want to move this, I select this. I will right click on my mouse, then I click on the interface and move the object around to the place where I want to move it to. You get now that's a move. This one is copy. If I want to copy this object, I can click on the object, right click again, then select my base point and probably copy to where I want to copy to. You get the point. So something like this. So escape, cancel, then like that. Then the next one is probably I want to stretch an object. If I want to stretch an object, I can actually click on an object and stretch it to how I want it to. You understand? But we'll get to see all that as we continue. Then if I want to rotate this object, for instance, I click on the object, I can come here and click on rotate, and it will tell me to specify my base point where I want to start from. I click on it and I'll rotate the object around. You get the point. Now cancel. That's okay. On that alternatively, you can also click on rotate, then select the object you want to rotate like this, then right click and select to a point you want to rotate it. Now if you want to probably work on the four cardinal points of east, west, north, and south directly, you can always come down here. You see, auto mode makes you work on just straight horizontal vertical lines. Like if I click on polyline or line, see, all I will do is all my work will just be doing is going to angle 90 or angle 180 and 180. You understand? That's all it does. It's like a straight line. It doesn't go on and off like but if I click or if I turn it off, if I click on my polyline, I can actually draw any angle I want to. But when you have this your auto on, it literally limits your cursor to just horizontal and vertical axis alone. You get the point. That's how it works. So the next thing is cut. Now look at this thing that looks like a scissors. I can literally trim an object or extend an object. Now, if I want to trim this, for instance, I click on this that's showing me something like scissors, and I click on the object and I remove it. Now that's why I said you should actually use an advanced version, because in the old version you have to start probably selecting the part you want to cut and all that. But with this new modern version, it just gives you easy access to do what you want. Now, say for instance, I want to let's say I draw an object like this and I want to probably extend this. So when I come here, I can click on this. That whenever I say click, I'm talking about left click. Whenever I say right click, is the other part of your cursor. So I click on extend. You see, it tells me what I want to extend. So if I click on this object, it extends it to join this object. You get the point, right? That's how it works. So that's on that. Then the next one is what we call a fillet. A fillet helps you create round curves or on edges. So if I want to fillet an object, I click on the 2 points where I want to create the curve like this. Now, why you are not seeing anything here is because I've not set my radius. So if I want to do that, I'll click on fillet, click on this, I'll right click, then I'll click on radius, probably make my radius 5. Since we've not set any unit here, I'll click on that, and now you see the curve, right? Now we're going to do the settings later on. I'm just showing you guys the tools we work with. You get the point. So the next thing is now look at all of these. You also have erase. This is eraser. If you want to clean an object, you can click on the erase and select the object you want to erase. And when you click on the object, click on right click and the object goes forth. Alternatively, you can also click on the object and you click on erase and it takes it off. You get the point. And the next one is explode. Now this object is one entity, right? You know, like I told you, when you work with polylines, you make all the objects to be one. Now, when you want to actually separate that object, you use the explode button, and that is when this comes in. So this is actually an object that together they are one entity. Now I want to separate them. So what do? I'll click on explode, click on the object I want to, then right click, and voila, all the object becomes single entity. That's now you can see here that all the lines are separate. They are not one anymore as they were before. You understand? So that's on that. Now the next thing you can see is probably copy, and the offset takes you copies your object from one point to the other. Okay. So in this case, let's see my explode in this sorry, my offset in this case. Say I want to offset the object to 20 meters. So I click on 20, I click on enter, then it shows me to select the object I want to offset. So I click on it and it duplicates that object in that particular distance. You get the point. Now this is it. Now because I will show you guys why you are seeing it so small. This my setting is already in millimeters, but we will do that later on. You get the point. So that's that. Now when you explore this whole thing, you get to understand these tools better. And the next thing we're going to be seeing is probably the text tool. This text is probably like if I want to write a text, I'll click on maybe I've done my plan. I want to probably create my floor plan. I've done that. I want to type my floor plan. Then I click on the text and click on the box open. Now right here, it shows me the various text format, the various type of text settings I already have. Now we have various settings. We're going to be going into that shortly, but let's just see these tools how they work. Now say I want to type floor plan. So when I'm done, I'll just click outside the box, and now you see you can't find the text. Why? Because my setting is still too small. You get the point. That is why when you do your settings, now the text is there though, but it's quite small. So but as we proceed, we'll see how to set all of this and all that. Now the layer is such that you can actually use a layer to separate your items. Huh? The layer literally helps you put items into different parts. Just like saying probably you have vegetations, you have water. When you have various items, you can actually separate them with layers. You get the point. The layers are literally meant to make your work easy so that you would be able to create your items without stress. So that in case you want to turn off a layer or probably turn on a layer, you can easily do that. So on that note, we have that's what the layers are for. But with time, we get to see all of that. Match property. For instance, let's say this color is warm. Let's turn this to red, for instance. Now I want to turn others to red. So I say, okay, match properties. I can click on match property. You show me to select the source object. When I click on the object I want to use, so to select the other objects I want to turn to that same color. So I can come and probably select this and you see it has turned to red. That's how you use the match property. You turn it to the item you want to turn it to. That's on that. Then the next thing is probably the dimensions. If you are working on the plan and you want to do a dimension, you click on dimension. You can, but this also has a setting, and we're going to get to that shortly. So see here showing me that this is my dimension. Okay, now, but we're going to set this anyway as we proceed. So I think basically this is what you need. Then you can copy and paste. Okay, we've seen that before. Uh, If you want to measure an object, you can come here, click on the distance, the radius, whatever you want to do. That's how you measure it. Let's take a quick distance. Measure. I say from here to here. It shows me that this is my distance, 950.3552. That's my distance. So you see, this is how you literally work with the interface. So right here, this OSnap, if I click on OSnap here, you see when I'm working here, you see there is like there's a point that shows me okay, let's see. You see like see that box, that's the function of the OSnap. It literally tells you, okay, probably to join an item with another. But when it's not there, when I click off, if I'm working, you won't see that box displaying anywhere. You see, that's the difference. It's not displaying. That's the function of the OSnap. So with that, we are done with this particular video. The next one, we are just going to do a brief some brief settings. Then from tomorrow, hopefully, we can start our designs proper with the knowledge we have learned so far.